Today we have a special guest at commencement, Senator Chuck Schumer. In 1998, Senator Chuck Schumer was elected to the U.S. Senate, and he kicked off his first Senate term by announcing that he would visit each of New York's 62 counties every year. That tradition continues, and today we're pleased to welcome to Niagara University the senior senator from the great state of New York, Senator Charles Schumer. Senator.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Down, and to Father Marr and all of the faculty here, to the aides, to the staff, to everyone who makes Niagara University the great university it is, one of the finest institutions of higher learning, not just in Western New York, but in all of New York State. Thank you for a job well done. Now, it's my honor to address the members of the podium, the friends and family, but most of all, you, the class of 2015 Niagara University. Congratulations. And first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college. And if you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So I wrote a law a few years ago, now on the books, that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for each year of college to help defray the cost of tuition, provided, in Washington there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid, takes that credit. Last year, about a third of all the people who were entitled didn't because it's relatively new. And if you happen to forget to do it either this past tax year or last one or the one before, you can file a simple form with the IRS and get up to $7,500 back. Not bad for a class gift. Now, what happens to those who come from families who make above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd also like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know just how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, and watched our daughter Jessica come up and take that diploma. It was one of the greatest days of our life. And if you're like us, you think of the tough times. Not so easy raising kids these days. We remembered when Jessica was 4 months old, had 106.5 fever. We had to rush her to the hospital. We didn't think she'd make it, but praise God, she did. We remembered when she was 5 and we put her on her kindergarten bus for the first time. As the bus pulled away, she ran to the back of the bus, waving goodbye, little tears streaming down her cheeks. But then at 2 o'clock, when Iris went to meet her on the bus's return, she bounded off the bus happy as could be. She said, "Mommy, I came back." When we talked to her, we realized what was going on in her little mind. She thought that was it. New family, new house, new neighborhood. Then we remember Jessie as a teenager, when she didn't say much to us and we didn't understand a word she said when she did talk. And then moms and dads, you see your sons and daughters get that diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. Congratulations to the moms and dads. And one other word of thanks. I know preceding me will be 14 young people, your ROTC class, who will be given their degrees. I want to congratulate them. And while we're having a great time here this afternoon, we know that there are young men and young women, many from this area. Western New York has a tradition of volunteering for the service. They're in our armed forces, they're overseas, often in dangerous places like Iraq and Afghanistan, risking their lives for our freedom. Let's have a round of applause for them. Okay, so now for you, this great class, Niagara 2015. You know, you're graduating with a whole lot of advantages. One is the one you've just received, your college degree. Only about a third of all young people your age will get any college degree. And the degree you've received from Niagara gives you a little bit of a leg up on others who have received their degrees because the education here is so excellent. So that gives you an advantage. And there's a second advantage. You're the first generation to grow up amidst all of this new technology. In 1988, a few years before most of you were born, that was the first year the word internet was ever seen in print. No Google, no Facebook, no Twitter, no email, no tweeting, no LOL. In 1994, it may have been the year some of you were born, the World Wide Web had 13 websites. That's it, 13. Now there are 14 billion. So it shows you how quickly technology is changing our world. And you know, your parents, your teachers, me, the older generation, we try to get used to this technology, but it's hard for us. We had to learn it as adults. But you were born into it. Technology is to your generation as water is to a fish. You've been swimming in it your whole lives. So the fact that you've gotten this great education here at Niagara, and the fact that you are the first generation to sort of instinctively just understand and be part of this new technology means one thing. Now's the time, if there ever was one, to figure out what your dream is. Figure it out and reach high for it, even if it seems hard to reach. Then, reach deep down inside yourself. See what you're made of. See if you can achieve that dream. My advice to the class of 2015 is very simple. Go for it. Now, sometimes you'll make the wrong choice, but if my experience is any indication, you'll pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward. But if you make the right choice, with a lot of hard work, a little luck, and some prayer, your life will be enriched forever. Now, I learned these lessons myself. When I was seated at college graduation a few decades back, just as you are today, I learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, and for the first time, I met a girl, and I fell in love. Aww. Well, I had to decide. Do I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a whole year? Or do I stay home with the girl? Class of 2015, put yourselves in my shoes. What would you have done? Father Marr, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap yet. The story unfolds. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. Give up right now. And in fact, I stayed in my house for several months, moped around, felt sorry for myself. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad that I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics. I told them my dream was to run for office, even though the chances of winning seemed difficult. Well, my parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You know, I came from a family that struggled to send me to college and law school. My father was an exterminator, never made much money, never went to college, and the law firm was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for office, and so that fall, against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly at age 23, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I sure didn't get that girl, but that November, I won the election. So, to this great class, Niagara 2015, go for it. And remember, because you've had a great education here at Niagara, because you're the first generation to grow up amidst this technology, because you have great family and friends who will always be behind you, and most of all, because you're you, it's not only my hope, it's not only my prayer, but it indeed is my confidence that you will succeed with flying colors and you will achieve your dreams. To the great class of 2015, congratulations. Good luck. Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it.